You ever look at a game and feel like it's being held together with duct tape and zip ties? Like, technically, it's working, but you just see it and understand that it's deeply foundationally unsound. This is what it's like playing a Capcom game with levels any larger than a studio apartment. As much as I loved it, Dragon's Dogma 2 was kind of a technical mess. Fast forward a year later, and Monster Hunter Wilds releases to pretty much the exact same fanfare. Real duct tape and zip ties energy. But I can't lie. There's just something about this game that feels so alive. In the face of all its problems, Monster Hunter Wilds rises above it all and delivers on its premise in ways that I didn't really expect. But I loved it anyway. Monster Hunter's always been about the art of action and reaction, a game of planning, positioning, and learning through endless repetition. Understanding how each monster works and slowly reaching an optimal method of cold-blooded murder. And I've been a casual fan since World, so I know what I'm talking about. If you've been watching me for a bit, you know how much weight and feel matters to me, and nobody does it like Monster Hunter. There's no swing, whack, or roll that feels quite as good anywhere else. Wild's biggest accomplishment is further bridging that gap between the weight you throw around and the effect that it has on the creature you're hunting. Offset slashes. Oh my fucking god, man. Whoever came up with this shit needs a fat, slobbery kiss. And maybe they need to be fired, actually, because why did it take Capcom this long to put this in here? Offsets are basically parries that stagger a monster and throw them off balance. Now, I know these have been in Monster Hunter in one way or another for a while now, and in Wilds, it's a lot less reliant on raw skill, but come on, it should have been like this years ago. It's not like they're super easy to pull off now, it still takes the skill and knowledge of knowing the monster's moves and lining yourself up to collide with them. It's also not completely broken, because they get harder to do the more you actually do them. In the hands of a demon, this mechanic would be absolutely insane. But for me, this is a huge step in the right direction. In more recent games, generally, parries are just pushing a button right before you get hit. Yeah, it can be cool, but with Monster Hunter's weight and deliberate design philosophy factored in, we're reaching next level shit here. Doming amphibians in ways never thought possible. Wounds are just another layer of frosting. This mechanic is where I think the casual energy hides the most, as it's only usable when you're in focus mode. Focus mode makes sense realistically, but in the context of the games, it definitely lets you position yourself with a little less thought than past entries would have let you get away with. Wounds are basically free damage and a free stun, which is just more free damage. But the sauce is in just how good it feels to pull off, every single time. If you're someone that uses heavier weapons like me, you know just how good it feels to fucking dig in there and just rip through the left lung of a single mother of six. The consequence for this is hunts just being a lot faster and a little easier. I'm a little torn on focus mode specifically, but I'm all in on wounds, even if they could use a little balancing. Make the stagger more infrequent as the fight goes on, like how offsets work, and we're golden. It's not just the combat that makes Wilds feel real. Everything's really gotta come together to make that sell. For these kind of games, the duct tape and zip ties thing is more so a backhanded compliment than a real complaint. Most games with this level of interactivity and liveliness feel like this in one way or another. Shit! More tightly knit feeling games like your God of Wars, Alan Wake's, or even Capcom's own RE games trade that heightened feeling of interactivity and emergent gameplay for something that everyone's gonna experience pretty much the exact same way. Now don't get me wrong, I like these games and they have their place, but I take a Dragon's Dogma over a Ragnarok any day of the week. Something about the lax, more open-ended design philosophies end up being game worlds that feel more real to me, compared to a game where I can't go up a flight of stairs because of fucking ottomans in the way. Sure, there's gonna be clipping with your armor and your weapon, or maybe an animation doesn't play out the exact direction it was intended to, but that's just video games. Sometimes your leg doesn't bend the way it was intended to either. The dynamism Monster Hunter Wilds functions on means that it foundationally needs those zip ties. So many monsters and you have to work in so many different places on different levels of terrain and adapt to when that terrain changes. If I really wanted to get into it, we'd be here forever. For there to be this much to account for, and to keep that suspension of disbelief intact, is extremely impressive. The devil's in the details. Look at this run cycle, man. After I whistled for my chicken, my character's looking back for it, and she's got this little panic stumble in her run. If the chicken picks you up while you're in the middle of being knocked down, it'll pick you up with its head before throwing you onto its back. After you turn off auto run, the chicken has this really beautiful running animation, and its weight is factored into every step and turn. Video games are so cool, bro. See you next time.